Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for Pinkfresh Studio as they are celebrating their 5th anniversary, and I was so happy when they invited me to be part of it, especially because I'm a huge fan of Pinkfresh Studio, their papers, their colors, their stamps, and their dies. So they generously sent me the Out and About collection, which I totally love, not because you just can document travels, but also everyday documenting. But in this case, I am actually gonna document a picture of my daughter and my cousin who was here in Toronto last year visiting. We are on a very ride from the Toronto Island to Toronto, and they're taking pictures of the Toronto skyline. So I took a picture of them taking the picture. Now I want to take advantage of this paper that has the map, and I'm gonna cut around 5 inches. Especially, I'm gonna use the part that has the water because, like I said before, this is a picture of us in the ferry. Now, for the background, I'm going to use Vicky Butin's foundation paper, and I'm going to cut, I'm going to say a half an inch from one side of the paper. I've already pre-yesso the foundation paper because I know I'm going to add mixed media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off camera and just kind of stitch the map section that I cut. And then once I come back, I'm adding clear yesso to the area where I have the water in the map paper that I just added, just because I know I'm gonna add some mixed media and I don't want the paper to warp or buckle a little bit once I add the water. Now, to add my mixed media, I'm gonna use the Pinkfresh Studio watercolor set. Love them. It's one of my favorite things to work with. I love the fact they're very saturated, and I can work with them very easily. Now, what I have done, because I want to get to the right color, is I added a piece of acrylic paper on top of, it's actually an acrylic sheet or acetate, on top of a piece that I had left from the map paper, just so when I mix the colors, I can get to the right color. Once I'm happy with the color, you're gonna see that I am actually gonna use my palette knife to add my mixed media. And the choice is, I want a very distressed look for the mixed media. One, I know it's gonna look messy, but it's got a lot of it is not gonna be hidden, but my picture is gonna be placed on top of it, so you're just gonna see edges of it. One of the reasons that I am adding actually, or I'm going with this method, you're gonna see that I do bring my brush just to break a little bit of the lines. But the reason is because I want those lines. I want the distressed lines. The map has a lot of lines that represent the street, so I wanted to bring that onto the mixed media. So you're gonna see that once I add my my little, I'm gonna say my little blob of color, I'm actually also gonna go to the top left corner of my layout because I know that's gonna put my title. But once I have it all in place, I'm actually gonna use the edge of the palette knife just to create some lines, kind of distress the watercolor that I have. Like I said, the idea came from having the lines of the map. I think that I want something very distressed. That picture of them taking picture of the city. So when I think city, downtown, Toronto is beautiful, but I had this idea of distress. And then I'm just gonna add a few drops of the color. You're gonna see that I'm also gonna bring a little bit of yellow, of red and pink, because there's little dots on the map that have those colors. So I'm just playing with some of the colors, mixing them together to get to the, especially when it comes to the red, it's not really a red, it's like a deep, very deep orange. So I mix a little bit of the red, sorry, not the red, bubblegum with a little bit of yellow just to get to that color. And I'm just gonna add a few drops around the entire mixed media part of this layer, and I'm gonna set it aside to dry. Now, this didn't take too long to dry. One, because I did not add that much water. There's not that much mixed media, and so it took very little time to dry. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start building my layer. And like I said, because my cousin and my sister are wearing, my daughter are wearing blue, I know I'm gonna use a blue paper just to make everything stand out. But I also want to break the monotony of the colors. So I'm gonna use I'm gonna say the rainbow paper from the collection. So I'm using one of the pieces. You're gonna see that all the letters that I cut out, I used the Adorn die to create another layer for this block up. So I have all the leftovers, and I'm gonna use them to kind of create the layers behind my picture. So all I did is, like I said, created 2 layers, one of the rainbow paper and one of the blue paper, just to make everything balanced. And then I'm gonna add a little piece of foam adhesive behind the picture just to make sure that it stands out from the background. And once I have everything set in place, I am actually gonna bring one of the frames, and it's the one that has the same map in the frame. And I really love that circle stitch circle that it has at the front. This is something about discovery and in the city, and I thought it was perfect for this. So you're gonna see that I'm just gonna cut the little piece at the back that is gonna go behind the adhesive, and I'm just gonna make sure that it sticks in place. Now that I have that in place, I'm gonna bring one of the clips. These are the resin clips that come in this collection because it says enjoy the view, and I think it was perfect for the sentiment of what this picture is about. If you can see it close, you're gonna see my daughter and my cousin holding cameras, taking pictures of the Toronto skyline. So I thought it was perfect. Now that I have everything pretty much set up, I'm just gonna start adding embellishments. And embellishments in this collection, oh my God, they are to die for. So I'm making sure that I have a combination of all the colors that I have on the rainbow. I'm gonna start with a cluster underneath the picture, taking advantage of that stitch circle that's on the frame. Once that I have that set, I am actually going to use the same paper, but the 12 by 12 version, just to replace or to create an edge on the left hand side of the layer. Remember that I cut a 1/2 inch from that side, and I'm going to bring the same paper that I'm using as a layer and just to marry all the colors together to that side. And then I'm going to go ahead and start building my layer. I found this little, I'm going to say it looks like a ticket, like a ferry ticket in this case. So I'm gonna add it there. It's gonna be the base where I'm gonna add my layout. And the title of my layout is TO Adventures because it's Toronto, Ontario. So it's TO, we know it as TO. So I'm just gonna use TO Adventures, and I'm just taking advantage of these are the alphas that are from the Out and About collection and some of the puffy stickers to just create the little my title. And then I'm gonna bring a little bit more yellow just because I'm thinking of a visual triangle. I'm thinking of elements that are repeating. And the circle that's at the bottom cluster of the picture, I need to repeat it somehow. So I thought that would be a great place for it. And you're going to see that I'm actually also going to bring some arrows just to kind of guide you eyed around it. Now, I want to create another cluster, and I'm going to take advantage of the tags. I love tags. So I'm just going to add it behind the picture. And then I'm going to create another cluster. I'm going to bring some accents of yellow, another resin button, or you can say I'm going to bring some enamel dots. I'm just going to play with everything. All the embellishments from the collection because I think it's just such a fun collection that there's so much color but it marries all nicely together. So you're gonna see that because I have all those circular dots on the map and also those buttons that I'm using in the clusters, I'm just adding a few enamel dots to pretty much every single cluster just to create, I'm not gonna say bulk, but just to kind of guide you right around it. Now that I have everything in place, I'm just gonna go ahead and start adding my lines of journal. And I thought the best place to add my lines of journal would be underneath the picture, kind of on the left hand side where I have the little bit of mixed media just sitting there. So I just drew some lines with paper and then just added some lines of journal talking about, how fun it was to see them take pictures. Even though we live in Toronto, sometimes we don't visit these areas. So I'm just gonna add another little sticker. I'm adding a little bit of foam adhesive behind it just to make it proper from the page. And I'm gonna continue with the little accents of the enamel dots just to make sure that it all looks cohesive and there's kind of a movement on the layout. Now just to finish my layout, I am gonna go ahead and add a little bit more of the splatters, but I want very fine splatters around all the clusters. Because like I said, when you add your pictures and your embellishments, a lot of it gets covered, even though it's kind of busy, like where you see in the mixed media. It looks messy here, sorry. But once you see it up close, it's not as messy and it's actually very clean mixed media. So I'm just adding a few more of my drops. You're gonna see that I added a piece of yellow string to my tag, but I'm gonna change it to white because I think it was just clashing a lot. And that's about it. You're gonna see that the last thing I'm gonna do is I was not liking the little heart enamel. It was kind of tilting to the bottom, so I just added a little piece of foam adhesive behind it so it kind of stands flat, and that's about it. It was actually a layout that came together pretty quick. I love how this turned out. I love the collection, and I'm so glad they invited me to take part of this blog hub because I'm enjoying all the projects that I created. And don't forget to stop by my blog, or you can stop at Pinkfresh Studio blog just to take part of the celebration. There's a lot of prizes to be won. And you also want to see the inspiration from all the Pinkfresh Studio DT and a lot of guests that are joining in the celebration. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Take care, guys.